Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and Titans, issue number 28, Drowned Earth. Now, I'm only getting this because I figured that it would help with the Drowned Earth storyline. It's a prelude, right? More on that towards the end of this review. Right now, let's get talking about who made this comic book so we can talk about the comic book itself. Credit where credit's due, buddy. So, The Road to Drowned Earth. Just another day on the brink of extinction. Dan Abnett is the writer. Clayton Henry is the artist. Marcelo Maiolo is on colors. Dave Sharp is on letters. Leonardo Menco is on the cover. And Paul Jimenez and Romulo Fayaro Jr. did the variant cover. Okay, so basically Garth is back. Now, this was an interesting way to start the comic book off. They jumped right into the action, then went back to, hey, this is how it all came here, and then it went right back into the action. That's cool. I like it when comic books do that. I like it when movies and TV shows do that, because you get to feel like, oh, adrenaline, and then, ooh, now I'm catching up on why they're doing that. Okay, now let's see what happens after the beginning. So I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. That's something that I think that readers of fiction have been able to adapt to over the past several decades. And you don't see it enough. In my opinion, you don't see it enough in comics. Then again, it could be overdone, right? In the meantime, Garth is here. He is Tempest, basically. And I'm imagining that he was not in the previous issue, though what do I know? I'm sitting here reading this issue, and of course, I've got dozens of questions because I haven't been reading Titans. I think it was issue number 22 or 23 that I reviewed, and I just stopped because there's supposed to be a whole new lineup, but I didn't understand the characters. They didn't explain the characters because there are a bunch of characters that I'm not used to, I'm not familiar with, and it was just very hard to jump in. It didn't feel like an issue number one for me, or at least it didn't feel like a jumping on point, I should say. Obviously, it wasn't an issue number one. But more on that later also. What happens here is there's a huge alien invasion. Now this is interesting because I've been reading the Drowned Earth stuff. The issue of last week, there were two issues that came out. Justice League issue number 10 and I think issue number 41 of Aquaman. I think it was issue number 41 of Aquaman. Let me check really quick. I think I have that written here. Yes, Aquaman number 41 is where it started. So, yeah, man, here's just another prelude. And this prelude, it has Drogue in it. That's one of the gods. Is it actually a god? Maybe they're just lying, but it seems pretty powerful, godlike. It's elemental. It's, he shows that he wipes the floor with everybody. Garth is the only one who actually had a chance against this guy. And even then, it was pretty much the illusion of a chance. But these guys are just, they're going to invade one of these alien ships. They're going to try and find the plans in the engine room for all this stuff and then get the stuff down to Batman and say, here you go, bud. Now give us an awesome plan. That's basically what they're going to do here. Very, very solid plan. But we're also dealing with a lot of emotion here. We know that Roy is dead from the events going on in Heroes in Crisis, issue number 1. And we know that from the recent issues of Batman, or the recent issue of Batman, not last week, 3 weeks ago. What was that? Issue number 53, I think? Where, no, it had to have been 56. Anyway, where the KG Beast shot Robin in the head and, well, grazed him and caused a memory loss. So in the current issues, the previous 2 issues of Nightwing, he is now without memory. So interesting. And we could see here why the Titans haven't had the chance to go and, hey bud, it's us. Get back here. Female Martian Manhunter. I can't remember what her name is right now. Anyway, Miss Martian. There we go. There's always that gender-specific alternate version of one of the main characters, right? Remember when he was Aqualad? When there hasn't been time for her to show up and say, oh, I'm going to fix your mind. But more than that, we see that she disappears. Miss Martian disappears here. And she could have been a huge help by coordinating their minds and everything instead of them shouting out orders to each other, right? But that couldn't happen. We don't know why. She disappeared, she got teleported away by Batman, and then sent right back into the fray, right into the action. I don't know why she was sent right back to the action. That's actually interesting. But we're going to find out on Halloween. On Wednesday, next Wednesday, we're going to find out, because they're going to have the part 1 of Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth #1. So all these preludes before, we're done with that. Boom, let's get right into the actual action. So it's interesting because we've got several fronts of what's going on. Justice League is telling us what's going on behind the scenes. Aquaman is telling us what's happening in Atlantis. That's the main crux of where all this is starting. And then we've got this, which is saying that, oh no, there's actually an alien invasion also. So when I read this issue, that changes the perspective of Drowned Earth for me. Holy crap. That's what a tie-in or a prelude for a different issue, a prelude tie-in, is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you an entirely different perspective, an entirely different view of what's going on. Hey man, we all look up at the constellations in the sky. But if we were to look up at those same exact stars on Mars, it would be an entirely different view. They would not be the constellations that we know, because, you know, stars are not all right next to each other. So there would be different constellations, radically different constellations that we'd have to make up while we're holding our breath. Anyway, the idea is that this did exactly what I was hoping it was going to do. Didn't expect it. Didn't want to raise my expectations, but I could have. This met and surpassed my expectations in a major way, because not only was this great for Drowned Earth, but this actually felt more like an issue 1, or I should say a jumping on point for Titans than the one that I did review just a couple of months ago. I read this. I fell in love with this team. Oh, damn it, I wish Tempest were going to stay on the team, but I understand if he didn't. But I'd still be cool if he came back. We didn't find out where he was. If he does come back, we will, I'm sure. But for now, oh my God, this is so good. This was so good. This team, this was solid. Beast Boy was on here, and he was so much fun. Oh, dude, Beast Boy was so much fun acting like a pirate. And plus, I think it was Talk Like a Pirate Day recently. So they pulled that off really good. Really good. This was a solid standalone comic book, man. Even if this didn't have all the tie-ins, even if it didn't have the prelude and all this stuff, this could have just been a regular old issue of Titans that didn't tie into anything. And this would have been the first one I read. I would have still loved this. This felt good. This had the heart. And they talked about the backbone and the strong arms and the heart and the brain of the team. Yeah, you know what the soul of the team is? Dan Abnett. And the entire creative team on here, the art team involved in this. That's the soul of this team, because this book is damn solid. All right, so I hate doing this because I do read a lot of comic books. I really do read a lot of comic books. Look at my chat, because I know a lot of people are going to jump on Comic Book University, be like, what's going on here? You know, he's doing a Titans book. Let's see if he's got something bad to say about it. I know Titans fans are rabid, and I understand. I don't blame you guys. I don't blame you guys for if I say something bad about Titans, you jump on like, you're an idiot. Well, I'm not, but it's cute, and I guess I understand where you're coming from, because it is a rabid fan base, you know, and I respect that. I do. But for all intents and purposes, like I said, I stand by what I said before. I didn't like the so-called jumping on point of Titans before. This, I'm telling you right now, this is a solid jumping on point. And I feel that even if you don't know some of these characters, because I don't know all of these characters, I do know some of these characters though. They talk about the characters in this comic book, and I feel like I'm good. I'm totally good. So I feel that if you don't know pretty much anything about these characters, I feel that you should be able to, and everybody's different, but I feel that you should be able to jump on this book and at least say, I am interested in this team, and I'm going to start buying this comic book from here on in. Let's never forget the great John Byrne when he said, every comic book that we make is somebody's first comic book. If that is kept in mind throughout everything that is written in Marvel, DC, indie world, whatever, I think that every comic book could be pretty great. Never treat everything like it's #1 for everybody, but treat it as some kind of a jumping on point for everybody. And then, you know, at least the first issue of a new arc, at least do that. And then I think that it's a comic book that everybody can enjoy because you can still tell your story. You simply have one page devoted to catching people up so that they can understand as though they'd been reading it for the past month, or for the past, you'd say 6 months? The past 6 issues. Anyway, this is really good. Guys, honestly, this is a solid issue comic book right here. This is standalone. You could read this and only this of this team, this current incarnation of Titans, and I feel like you'd want to jump on it too, just like me. So that's a huge statement for somebody who's not trying to read more comic books. Yet, why would I eat a cannoli for the first time and just be like, that was like one of the best desserts I've ever had in my life. I'm never going to have one again. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm going to go buy a whole box of cannolis and hope that somebody doesn't Godfather 3 me. Okay, I'm done. Great comic book. Go read this comic book. F&A, man. Solid issue. All right. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.